Mr. Sean Hayes. Sorry to disappoint you, I'm not the actor, Sean Hayes. I know, right? There was one club where she introduced me on purpose to make it sound like I was the famous Sean Hayes, and there was a gasp in the audience when I walked out, like, oh, that's not him. So, sorry, I wasn't on Will and Grace. I'm gayer than him, probably. Now, he's probably a little bit gayer than I am, just outwardly, but I've had a lot more practice than he has, I think. I came out in 1988, so that's 36 years ago for people, which makes me 100, thank you so much. Makes me 150 years old in like gay years. But like 45 years in straight cis white male years, because I'm actually 55, but someone told me I lived 45 and I'm sticking with it, so we're going with that. Yeah, and my husband was 3 when I graduated high school. Yeah, it's important to note that's not when we met. Like, I didn't imprint on him. Like, he's not the Renesmee to my Jacob. Let's be very clear. And the 13-year-old girl, he loves Twilight. Our wedding was Twilight themed. I've read every single book, even the rewrites. I just watched all of the movies the other night for like the 10th time because you can't help it when they're on Hulu. Right there in front of you, and they're like, here's all of the Twilight movies. I'm like, let's do this. Yeah, we had Edward and Jacob cake toppers, well, figurines, whatever, action figures, on top of our cake. And then we used the vows directly out of the book, which, by the way, if you're planning a wedding and you want to find vows, they're perfect for a wedding. Those Mormons know how to write wedding vows. I'm just telling you this right now. Yeah, and yeah, it's great, it's great. But yeah, I met him when he was 26, so there you go, that's a much better age than 3. And I was 40, so there's 15 years between us, so there's still a little bit. I've only dated people in their 20s. It turns out when I was in my 20s, I dated people. And then I was single for 17 years because my ex just put it to me. He like put me through it. And then I enjoyed my 90s being single. Like I was just the gayest and most single I could be in Los Angeles, having a really good time. I like peaked the same time the AIDS did, so that was fun. Yeah, but the nice thing is we never became friends. Like AIDS was on that side of the sex club, and I was on this side of the sex club. You know, I did it all sober. But I did self-actualize at a sex club because I was blowing this guy, giving my best effort through a glory hole. And he stood up, and I saw him turn around to the guy behind him, say, that guy was good. And I was like, I've just reached the top of my Maslow triangle. Here we go. Like, where can I go from here? You know, right? That was it. So I just kept practicing to get better and better. Evan reminded me of something. I worked at McDonald's when I was a kid, and we had a McDonald's like intercompany newsletter. I was a manager at McDonald's making great money, $4.25 an hour. It was 1985, 86, 87, so, you know, that was a lot of money. But in the newsletter, they were talking about how Wendy's were going out of business. And I was like, if I don't buy a Frosty machine, my life will be over. Like, how can I get a Frosty machine for my house before Wendy's goes out of business and a bunch of, so I'm glad they didn't go out of business because that would have been a challenge. But I really love Frosties. And now I have to go get one, thanks Evan for talking about Wendy's for 10 minutes. Now I'm jonesing for a Frosty and a blowjob because I was talking about that for like 5 minutes myself. So there you go. You know, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, what else do I want to talk about? So, have you ever been in the shower and noticed that men's shampoos and soaps look like cum? Yeah, I can tell you, don't taste it. It does not taste like cum, and soap is not delicious. And now you're gonna look at me like I'm insane. So, I really did eat the soap. I really did the soap, sorry. Sorry, I'm here talking about cum, but it's delicious. I don't know, I'm gonna tell you. You see something that looks like it. Again, I had a lot of fun in the 90s, so there you go. And I'm old enough to where, like, when I was at McDonald's, I fought the Cold War. I don't know if you know this, we were in a Cold War with Russia for what seemed like 100 years. And there was this Russian that came in and he really wanted a burger at like 8:30 in the morning and he was freaking out about it. And I didn't know what was going on. I don't know if the story will be funny, but I did feel like I fought the good American fight here. he was screaming and yelling, and I thought, oh, he's yelling at my poor Mexican worker in the front because his English isn't good, which always made me so mad. And then he like threw his wallet, he was doing all this stuff, and then he like slammed his hand down on the counter, and then he like finally left, like he went 8, I think, or whatever. And well, and he was screaming and yelling at me. He like screamed and yelled while I was like running and doing. We were short people, and he's like, in Russia I can get a burger, and I was like, well then go back to Russia. You know, I like screamed it out loud, and then I thought I shouldn't be yelling that out loud. That's not very customer friendly. But then the crowd cheered. It turned like an '80s movie, and everyone's like screaming, "Go USA! Go USA!" And so I felt like I won. So that was nice. So that was my time. My name is Sean Hayes, everybody. Thank you so much.
Sean Hayes, everybody.